자, 이제 드디어 미국 MLS의 플레이오프가 시작되려고 하는 중입니다. 과연 손흥민이 지난 유로파리그 우승에 이어서 이번에도 토너먼트 우승의 기억을 이어갈지가 초미의 관심사로 떠올랐는데요. 미국 MLS 사무국에서는 공식 홈페이지를 통해서 각 팀에서 주목해야 할 대표 선수들을 선정했는데 LAFC에서는 당연하게도 손흥민이 뽑혔습니다. 2025 아우디 MLS 컵 플레이오프가 시작됐다. 각 팀은 변화를 가져다줄 스타 선수를 찾고 있다. MLS 컵 우승을 노리는 각 팀들의 주목해야 할 선수들을 소개한다. 이제 손흥민이 LAFC 선수로 합류했다는 걸 다시 한번 강조한다. 손흥민은 뮬러와 같이 LAFC에 온 뒤로 상대 수비진들을 불태우고 있다. 9번 선발로 출전해 9골 3어시를 올렸다. 현재 MLS에서 손흥민과 부안가를 넘는 듀오는 보이지 않는다. 흥부 듀오만 있다면 LAFC가 우승하는 것도 꿈이 아니다라면서 손흥민이 합류한 LAFC가 MLS 컵 우승 후보라는 공신력 있는 분석을 내놓은 겁니다. MLS 사무국이 MLS 우승 후보를 논하는데 이보다 더 믿을 만한 소식이 또 있을까요? 뿐만 아니라 영국의 가디언지에서도 손흥민이 우승할 거라는 예측을 내놨는데요. 이 매체에 소속된 MLS 전문 언론인 3명이 하나같이 입을 모아서 손흥민이 이끄는 LAFC가 최종 결승전까지는 간다고 본 겁니다. LAFC가 서부 결승에 가는 건 당연하고 그 상대 팀이 시애틀일지 샌디에고일지 정도만 서로 의견이 갈렸습니다. 그러나 결국에는 3명의 전문가 모두 LAFC가 서부에서 우승할 거라는 결론을 내렸고요. 게다가 3명의 전문가 중에 2명은 손흥민이 최종 MLS컵 우승할 거라고 예측했습니다. 그 2명 중에 1명인 루스벤 기자는 최종 결승이 손흥민과 메시의 대결이 될 것이라고 전망하면서 메시와 손흥민의 맞대결, 알바와 부스케츠의 은퇴 등 MLS 입장에선 블록버스터급이자 꿈의 결승 대진이 완성될 것이다. LAFC 체룬들로 감독이 마지막 경기에서 또 하나의 우승 트로피로 작별 인사를 할 수도 있다라고 말했습니다. 또 다른 사람은 아브노스 편집장인데 이 편집장은 손흥민의 상대가 마이애미가 아닌 신시내티일 거라는 예상을 했습니다. 리그 최고의 수비 두 팀의 맞대결이다. 하지만 시즌 막판 손흥민과 부안가의 호흡이 얼마나 잘 맞았는지를 생각하면 이들의 우승 실패에 베팅하는 건 어려운 일이다라면서 LAFC 우승에 손을 들어준 겁니다. 심지어 미국 매체인 ESPN의 분석 방송에서는 손흥민과 메시를 각각 지지하는 패널들이 나와서 서로 격한 논쟁을 벌이기도 했는데요. 보다 보니까 진짜 한 명은 감정이 상한 것처럼 진심으로 싸우는 것 같더라고요. 자, 그 영상을 함께 보시죠.
All right, let's take it to some other expectations coming this season because as we well discussed MLS Cup playoffs, we're seeing the bracket here on the screen. San Diego still waiting their rival here in the first round between Portland and RSL. Of course, Minnesota and Seattle. LAFC against Austin FC on that side in round one. Vancouver FC Dallas on the other side. Philadelphia still waiting. Chicago or Orlando on that's Orlando too. Charlotte against New York City FC. Inter Miami, as we said, against Nashville and FC Cincinnati versus
Cincy Columbus. That's tasty.
Crew.
First rounder.
Yes, it is. A tasty dish to kick off our postseason for MLS. Sevi, who is the favorite to win MLS Cup? Inter Miami, San Diego, Vancouver Whitecaps, Philly Union, or LAFC?
Yeah, I mean, people can see the odds there on the screen. They probably think I'm chasing the value here, but I'm not. I think it's LAFC. Third right now in the West. And this basically, for me, is down to two dudes. Denny Bawanga and Heung-min Son. They have been incredible together. So good. I don't know, it's only been like 10 games for Son, but 43 goal involvements combined between those two. They're also coming in pretty hot. Of their last 8 games, they've only lost once. And they were putting up some big, crooked numbers in some of those games. 4 goals, 3 goals, just racking up goals left, right, and center. I also think maybe a little bit of an emotional play here. Steve Cherundolo getting ready to ride off into the sunset, maybe playing for their manager. Also a guy who, knows how to win MLS Cup. He
Last Dance vibes.
3 years ago, exactly. I really think LAFC for me is not just the best value, but they're the team to pick here. I throw a word to Seattle. I think Seattle's a very, very good team that's always, worthy of consideration this late. It'll probably come down to Seattle, LAFC for me in the West. And then, of course, you got to mention Inter Miami out of the East. I just think this, they lack the coaching and they are so vulnerable defensively. Again, Nashville, who's not some great team, could have had 3 or 4 goals in the opening half hour of that game. And that's pretty much every Inter Miami game you watch. And I don't think you can win it all with so little defense, no matter what Messi does. At some point, you're going to have a 1-0 or 2-0 game. And I just think they're going to have to rely on their back line more than they're ready to.
Again, the Vancouver disrespect remains. LAFC would have to go through Vancouver, in Vancouver, to make it to MLS Cup. Listen, you could say what you want about how hot Sun is and how hot Boanga are. This is still an LAFC team that, for large stretches of the season, underwhelmed. And it's still an LAFC team that, in past editions...
Have they underwhelmed since Son's been there? Because that's the team now. I hear you. The first half, I was like, I'll be honest here. At the beginning of the season,
they didn't look good against Colorado. They didn't look good against Colorado.
Placed a futures bet on LAFC. 3 months into the season, El Primo felt really bad about that bet, but the new LAFC is what I'm going off.
Trust me, if it's the new FC, it's because LAFC in general, with Steve Cherundolo, has just always been so Jekyll and Hyde. And if it's a scenario where you're placing all your chips on one player, because that's what you're going off of, how Sung has changed LAFC.
Yes, and the combo with Boanga.
I'm going to place all my chips on Messi. I'm going to place all my chips on historic Messi, on Messi who's changed the game once, twice, 3 times over. Every single time we see him, he's just a difference maker in a playoff setting where they have the benefit of 3 games against Nashville and then going on.
They had 3 games against Atlanta last year.
Yeah, well, yeah. And that's the thing. I don't think that's going to happen again. And they're going to come off and face a Cincinnati team or a Columbus team who are going to come off beating the hell out of each other. I think they'll be physically fresher. I'm going to take Miami here. I think the value is good at plus 500, and I just think it makes sense. The best footballer in the league plays for Inter Miami. I've got no problem with that.
It's just a little bit of a role reversal. You've always been the guy to kind of go against Inter Miami, go against Messi.
And what did you always say?
And don't do it. You don't bet against
Messi.
Messi.
Out of my mouth, Savvy. That was exactly.
I know.
You've always been kind of an Inter Miami,
and you don't bet against them.
LAFC lover, but
he's learned his lesson.
But it's the moment, right, that LAFC has, and we know that when it comes to postseason, it's really of the moment
but
right now. It seems to be more with LAFC collectively
here's the thing,
versus Inter Miami.
We've not seen them have the adversity yet. It's been smooth sailing for LAFC.
So, waiting for the other shoe to drop? Is that how you live your life?
Once you get punched in the mouth, that's when you find out who you are. They've not gotten punched in the mouth with Sun. I want to see who they are. I know who Miami is. I like what I see out of them going forward. And I don't think they're as bad defensively as Sev makes it out. I think this team...
Maybe honestly, I'm being prisoner of the moment just off that Nashville game. I'm not exaggerating.
They could have scored 8 on Nashville.
Not in the first half. It should have been 4-0 when Messi scores.
It should always be something with Inter Miami.
20 yards over the bar from 5 feet away.
It should always be something with Inter Miami, yet it's not. You should never have a 30-year-old.
Somebody's going to take advantage of those mistakes. At some point in the playoffs, you're not going to run up against Nashville. You're going to run up against some real quality, and somebody's going to take advantage of the mistakes they make.
Say the same thing about LAFC.
Yeah, but LAFC has 2 studs.
And those 2 studs don't measure Lionel Messi.
I take 2 over 1 any day.
정말 손흥민과 메시의 우승 맞대결이 펼쳐진다면 진짜 미국 역대급 화제가 될 것 같은데요. 손흥민보다 메시가 올라올 수 있을지를 걱정해야 하는 거 아닙니까? 네. 이상 흰수염고래였습니다. 감사합니다.